When you want me to start the PowerPoint.
All right, good morning. Welcome to Seniors Real Estate Specialists Networking Group. Happy New Year. Happy to have everybody here. I hope everybody had a great holiday. I'm sure we did. We are really honored to have Dr. Jill Bjerke. I hope I pronounced that right.
Oh, you did.
Oh, good. With us today because she's going to talk about silver spaces and it's the home assessment. So some of us in this group, and I'm not sure to what extent. So some of us are caps and there's a few other things in the home assessment industry. Um, and that's why we're so happy to have you come and share what it is that you do. And so we that can just raise the level of awareness for us and that we can take it to our businesses. So I'm going to have you go ahead and I've made you co-host so we can go ahead and get started.
Okay. Let's see here. It's not letting me share.
Let me see if I hit the button again.
Wait, there. Can you
There
see
we
that?
go. Hi,
There.
That's
Yep.
perfect. Now I can see something. Yep. Now we got it. Hi,
Good.
Shelley.
I actually did something right.
Hi.
Okay. Thank you for having me. I've known Skip for quite some time. So it was an honor when he contacted me and asked me if I would present this information. Um, as it says here, I'm trying to give you some knowledge on, pardon my voice, I had throat surgery, on property accessibility and universal design and how it can reimagine and improve your real estate career. Come on, why won't you go next? I do not know why this, there we go. Okay, so this is a little bit about me. I am a chiropractor, so I look at a lot of this from a health standpoint. I do have my caps. I did get my real estate license, but realized it was not the career for me. I am considered an aging in place subject matter expert and have been in this field for 21 years now. So I've accumulated a tremendous amount of information. I've been very active locally, statewide, and national in a variety of ways, as you can probably see in all this stuff that I have listed there. But I've tried to take that and turn that into an information product. I won't call it education, although I do give CEO presentations. I won't call it that. So here's what we're going to go over. I want to express an understanding of accessibility and universal in design in real estate as it applies to aging in place and in other realms. I want to show how you can expand the market reach. I want to show how you can recognize property value. And I also want to give some practical strategies. So along the way, I'm going to show you what aging in place is and why a home and safety assessment is important. What is accessibility and universal design? Are they the same? How do they affect property? Why do I need to know about them? How can I monetize this for my career? And who can I involve in the sales process? So aging in place, probably everybody knows, except seniors that you ask, who will tell you, I just want to live in my home. The whole thing is to live in that home safely and comfortably, regardless of age, income, or ability. And a home safety assessment can detect and mitigate risk areas and increase property appeal by incorporating universal design and accessibility features. As we age, most people don't understand that we may have lived in our house for a while, but our health and our abilities have changed, but our home has not. So it no longer meets those needs. While seniors want to remain in their home, it may not be the best option. A lot of homes no longer fit their lifestyles. And the key is to create an accessible home, whether it's new construction or modifications. And universal design means something that is functional for everyone, regardless of who that person is. And as you will note over to the left, that scary statistic, almost 25% of the entire US population will be 65 plus by 2050. So getting accessible homes prepared now is what should be happening. And I just heard a statistic not too long ago that 2026 is going to be a very good year for real estate. Mortgage rates are dropping a little, but even a little right now is a lot. So why does accessibility increase a home's appeal? It accommodates people of all abilities, whether they're in a wheelchair, walker, blind, it doesn't matter. So that makes it attractive to more buyers. It opens up the demographic. Universal design adds value. Universal design meaning things like no-step entries, wide doorways, lever faucets, the right kind of flooring, the right kind of paint, everything plays into how you can add value to a home. Also, legal requirements can play into some of the universal design options, such as ADUs and other things, and I'll cover that. Visitability is something that is not mentioned often, but it still is very important because it means that anyone of any ability can visit this home, and that can be very, very important. Again, it opens up that demographic. So let's talk about expanding the market reach with inclusive properties. This is one of my favorite slides. I became very good friends with gentlemen up in Washington State who have created the designation ARES, which is Accessibility Real Estate Specialist. I came across them because we had a discussion about how one of these gentlemen was in a wheelchair. So he didn't know what properties he could access, nor did he know what properties his clients could access. So he sent me this, which is a copy of what their MLS uses to address publishing accessibility issues. And to me, this is a key criteria and should be in every MLS across the country in order to give sellers the information they need so they can perfectly match their buyers to the appropriate property. But also, if those real estate agents also have some kind of disability, this gives them some upward notice. I will also mention that in Oregon, I belong to something called Leaders in Lifelong Housing, and we have created an accessibility certification process. It's in its test market right now. We should be rolling it out nationwide, hopefully, through the National Aging in Place Council. But it does allow a property to be scored on how much accessibility is available to that property. So here's a good case study. And any of you who are CAPS, you have already seen this. You'll see the zero threshold, obviously excellent lighting, good landscaping, very minimal landscaping. The grass is not overgrowing the edges of the sidewalk, which is a trip and fall hazard. There's no tree dropping berries on the sidewalk, which is a trip and fall hazard. There's no cracks in the sidewalk. There's large windows, which provides a great maximum amount of light. And then the front door makes it very, very visible to see who's there. Crucial for seniors, whether they have a peephole, a side window, or a Ring doorbell, they should know who's on the other side of that door before they open it. You've probably seen this again, but when I talk about grab bars to seniors, they're like, no, they make me look old, because they do not know how these have just drastically changed in design over the years. And they can be multifunctional. The one on the bottom right is from my favorite vendor, Ponte Giulio, out of Italy. And that one in particular folds up, which can be crucial if you're a caregiver and you're trying to get someone on and off of the toilet, or if you're in a wheelchair, or you just need more space. Here's a really good room example. if you notice in the cabinetry in the bottom left, the kick plate is very, very high. That is really important for those in wheelchairs. It's not often seen. I try and encourage builders to consider doing this at certain times. There's natural light, task light. You notice that the lever handles are on the faucets, and there are C hardware on the cabinetry. I tell people, imagine having a tennis ball in your hand. That's what it's like to turn a doorknob or to try and turn a double faucet that is round. That's why these lever handles, both in cabinetry and in plumbing, can be so important. Multiple height countertops. Seniors like to sit sometimes when they are preparing food. Or if you're in a wheelchair, you need a lower countertop. And notice the countertop edges are rounded. Older homes, they can be squared off. Why is that important? If there's a fall, that could be a traumatic brain injury. So there are a lot of reasons why universal design can be so important. Another example, the raised toilet. I happened to buy a raised toilet a few years ago, and I could not believe the difference. I just could not believe it. Again, pull-out drawers. For those who have trouble bending, the drawer comes to them. They don't have to reach all the way to the back. And then this is an example of a roll on their sink, but the problem with this is that the plumbing is not insulated. So someone in a wheelchair could be burned if this was not insulated. And remember that needs change as people grow older. They may take on new health conditions. They may have someone come into their house that has a health condition. So again, this is all, what does this person need? So talk about I can get it right. Boosting property value and making a competitive advantage. Why do you need to know about this? Aging in place is not right for everyone. And I have been literally preaching this for 20 years. Things like finance, you're still going to have taxes, you're still going to have maintenance, transportation. How are you going to get around when you can't drive? Does your church have a bus? Is public transportation nearby? Are there other options for you other than Uber or Lyft? Are there financial considerations in getting transportation? And how is your health? Is your health something you need to take into consideration if you want to remain in that home? Is that home set up perfectly for you, given your health conditions now and possibly in the future? And the biggest downside to aging in place is socialization, because people can become isolated. And that can be really, really terrible. So what are the options? Obviously, home modifications in order to fit the current lifestyle and their abilities. Maybe they shuffle now and they didn't before. That means a different flooring surface. Or they may need to purchase a home that already has the modifications that they need. They could price themselves out of the market by making modifications that they need. So what is the best decision for them? Looking at all the options available to them. In some cases, creating an accessory dwelling unit, the ADU, may be the best option for them, depending on their circumstances. They may want to be moving in with family, but the family doesn't have room, so they have an ADU. Or selling the home and transitioning to other housing. As I said, with an ADU, we're going to see more and more multi-generational housing. I'm really convinced of it. With all of the natural disasters we have seen, there are people with no homes, and they have to move in with other family. And this makes that home multi-generational. Is it going to fit all those generations? Or do they need to now find a home that will meet everyone's need, from the baby to the senior? Again, it depends on what they need, but this is your market. This is where you can shine. Why do you need to know about this? Accessibility increases safety and reduces risk of falls. I created this assessment 20 years ago based on the fact that I wanted to reduce falls in seniors because they are so prevalent. Long-term cost savings can be found by making these modifications and by making it more accessible. There's always staying home versus assisted or independent living. There is an independent living place here in town that charges $20,000 a month in addition to the $125,000 entrance fee. So, there are some unaffordable options for people, and we need to provide more appropriate housing for seniors. Seeking options can reduce the need for future remodeling. So, for instance, if you're showing a home and you know that person at some point in time may need a ramp, is there a place for a ramp? Can a ramp be put in, or some kind of exterior lift? It's something that needs to be considered, which could reduce future modifications, or again, make the choice for the right person. And this gives a broader market appeal. As you can tell, you open this up with universal design and accessibility, and now it appeals to a much broader market of buyers. Winning over families and diverse buyers. Designs with zero-step entries and adaptable rooms meet the needs of children and multi-generational housings, as I mentioned. Open floor plans create inclusivity. You've probably been in someone's house that is just totally cluttered, and it's very difficult to find a path through. That is dangerous. And so we want an open floor layout reduces that clutter. And inclusive design benefits speed up transactions and can improve buyer satisfaction. How do I know this? Research. There's a great deal of research that stands by this. So people with disabilities, 15% of the global population has some form of disability. And as we get into this aging market, that is only going to increase. So for you to hit this head on now and recognize it is a boon to your own profession. Accessibility features such as adjustable counters, accessible bathroom, the ability for people to get around who may have caregivers. Is the bathroom big enough for a caregiver? Is the bathtub, should that be converted to a walk-in shower because you need a caregiver to get in with that person? There are all types of scenarios. You can't consider them all, but you should be aware of them, aware of what options are available for your buyers. And your marketing should enhance your reputation and serve and enhance this underserved market, which it is right now and is only going to grow. This shows the impact of how remaining in the home or aging in place can offset what assisted living can be. And assisted living can be extremely expensive. Does that mean you have to avoid it? No. But I can tell you, one hip fracture by an older adult can send them to a nursing home because they can no longer live independently. So what that means, we need to create safe spaces for seniors as they age, because a hip fracture can really throw them off for the rest of their lives. How do you talk to prospective clients? People don't realize our bodies are breakable. You can trip and fall. I've had 2 knees replaced. Other people have broken arms, broken limbs, falls downstairs. Universal design does not promote stairs for that reason, because the fall probability is so high. And so is stepping into a tub. Even falling out of bed can be an issue. So making sure the bed is the right height for that person. The toilet is the right height. When our clients do assessments, we ask them, please have your client get on and off the toilet. Please have your client get in and out of bed so that you can ascertain, is this right for this client? Have them stand at their kitchen counter. Is this right for this client? You're trying to match their current home with what their abilities are now and what they may be in the future. If you have a client who has multiple sclerosis and they know it's going to get worse, carpet is not the appropriate floor surface for them. So they may need to think about, okay, I need to think about what am I going to do as my condition worsens and I need to ambulate around my house. What kind of floor surface do I need? Putting ceramic tile in a bathroom? No. Slip and fall. Either replace it or put a non-slip coating on it, something that is going to reduce that hazard. And the moment the grab bar is needed should not be the time to call the contractor. I saw an incredible photograph a couple months ago that, I just never considered. And it was a picture of a back door going into the garage and coming out of the garage, but it was for children. So that children had something to hold onto when they stepped down into the garage. But it was also useful for the older adult and anybody else in that family. And, thinking about the fact that you have to step down and into the garage can be a real hazard. We have a developer here in town who advertised that he built aging in place homes. So I went to one of his open houses and I told him who I was. And I said, I'm going to do an assessment of your home. Is that okay? And he said, sure. So we walked into the bathroom and I said, what's wrong with this picture? And he looked around and he said, I don't see anything. So I sat on the toilet and I said, now tell me what's wrong with this picture. Oh, he says, the grab bar was clear across the room, which meant that the person there had to raise up off of the toilet to reach the grab bar. And he said, we never realized that. And I said, that's why you need to work with someone who is experienced in accessible and universal design. Installing handrails and zero step thresholds, say that 20 times, really makes it friendly for guests that you have over or even your neighbor to come over. They feel comfortable in your home because they know there are no barriers. So creating your successful future. Become an advocate. I strongly recommend this. My colleagues in Oregon have approached the Oregon legislature to put into place laws for developers when they create new developments to set aside a certain percentage and create accessible housing so that there will be more accessible housing built over time. Locally, I knew that my local city was going through zoning changes. So I went to the city council and I did a presentation on ADUs because I knew they didn't know anything about it. And they were going through zoning changes. So I went through the whole presentation of what an ADU is, why it's needed, what codes they could be looking at. And sure enough, they adopted that, which was great. I was surprised actually, but it was a wonderful surprise. So advocate for yourself and for your community and for the people, your buyers. Advocate for them too. Your state, your national, and your local organizations, keep in touch with them. I will be sending Skip some websites that have fantastic information, especially on technology as it appears with aging. A lot of older adults now, I believe it's own a minimum of 7 electronic devices. I only own 3, so I guess I'm behind the curve. But, technology is obviously finding a place in this home. And it goes beyond Alexa and the thermostat and other things. Technology has really become important. In telehealth, things that will make it much, much easier for everybody, not just seniors. But staying on top of these trends will be really, really important for you to stay on top of your industry. Go beyond your licensing CEUs and stay informed on how your profession can make a difference in your community. Become your community expert in universal design and accessibility. Get known by what you know and develop a network with modification professionals such as contractors, developers, architects, interior designers, interior designers, and especially occupational therapists. They're the ones that really know the most about what a person needs in that home. Create your own circle of who you can turn to for some of the things that you need. Don't forget, an interior designer is a specialist in color, in lighting, in curtains, and you may have a flooring specialist that you can turn to. So create your own network of people that you can turn to, refer to them, they will refer to you. So then you're opening up your practice and your ability to earn because you've got more people on your quote unquote team and you want to be known in your community as the expert on universal design and accessibility. And stay current with RISO definitions. I mentioned this because probably about a year ago, there was a big eruption over the word wide because it was pointed out, not by me, that realtors don't want to walk around with a measuring tape and measure how wide a doorway is, even though ADA says 32 inches, or for a wheelchair, 36 inches. But the word wide doesn't describe anything. And I had one of my realtor friends say that, they said this bathroom had a wide doorway. It was 28 inches wide. That's hard to get into. I don't care who you are. So, watch those RISO definitions. They may change as the future changes. In fact, I can guarantee it. And by the way, that conversation never did end. It's still up in the air. There still was they stayed with the RISO definition, but there was a lot of pushback. So, stay abreast of what's going on in your own industry. So here's some practical tips. Get insights into specific designs and changes and modifications that can be made for renovations, for modifications. So when you're standing in a home, you can say, oh, I have an idea. You could probably do XYZ, which might make things a whole lot easier. Maybe we should consider getting a bid on this. Learn how to make properties more accessible and appealing to this wider range of clients. And follow trends. As I said, older adults now own an average of 7 devices, up from 4. On the right, I apologize for leaving out CSA. I was on the CSA editorial board. I should have put it in there. I apologize for that. But secure your SRES certification if you do not have it. If you have the opportunity, earn your CAPS designation. It's important. From my point of view, they don't cover enough health-related options, which is why I did what I did and created this assessment. But still in all, the CAPS information is still important. I was very upset that they took out the separate universal design section. And when I called them and asked them about it, they said, oh, we're just going to throw all this information into the rest of the course, which I thought was really not the best idea given the need for universal design right now. You can become a universal design professional through the National Association of the Modeling Industry, the NARI. And then, as I mentioned, this ARES, ableenvironments.com is where you can get information. Not every state has accepted this as a designation. I know they're working on it, and slowly across the nation, they're pulling in states that are accepting CEUs for this designation. But you can reach out to them and find out about this and find out about more. It's intense, but it comes at it from every angle you can possibly think of. It is excellent. So I can't even say this today, accessibility assessment. You should create your own checklist or guidelines to help you assess properties for accessibility, universal design, everything, whatever you want to use. I mentioned the lifelong housing certification checklist, whatever it works for you. Create your own checklist, or obviously use our product, but I'd rather you use something rather than nothing, so that you have your own checklist of what you should be looking for in these properties, whether you're getting ready to list it or whether you're getting ready to show it. And marketing material should clearly highlight accessibility attributes. It's going, again, to appeal to that wider demographic. Virtual tours are great for accessibility. If you're going to do them, have someone do a narrative to point out those accessibility features. Not everyone recognizes them. The public is not aware of what accessibility and universal design is. So if you have someone narrating this virtual tour for you, pointing these things out, again, it's going to open your demographic to a wider market. And training agents, future agents on accessibility features will improve their ability to serve these niche markets effectively. Partnering with designers and builders, working closely with designers and buildings helps you walk into their world and understand it a little bit better. But then again, you get referrals back. And that's what you want. You want referrals going both ways. An early partnership ensures smooth incorporation of accessibility features during modifications or even renovation or even construction. My partners in Oregon, who are creating this certification, have created amazing partnership with developers and builders. And they've even brought property that developers are going to build on. So the options are out there are limitless for you. And it enhances your credibility to have the extra information, and it helps improve client consultations, your client trust. To me, trust is everything. If your client doesn't trust you, it's going to be difficult for you to move forward with any transaction with them. So early on, establishing trust, showing you have all this information, you understand their needs, you want to help them find the best property for their health, for their abilities, really can grow your career so much easier. Again, financial benefits. Educate them on the return on investment. Obviously, you don't want to price somebody out of the market. You don't want to put in a $30,000, $50,000 remodel for a neighborhood that would never resell. So being able to walk that fence with them and show them, okay, we did an assessment and these are all the changes that you really do need to make. You don't need to make them all right now. So let's do the ones that will affect your property and you the most, and we'll work from there. It can be done in stages, but it shows how you are investing in them and how they are investing in their property. Highlight how inclusive properties increase social equity. And again, this is really important to me because you're talking about the widest diverse clients there is on the planet. I mean, it's every person that wants to buy or rent or build or whatever. That's who your client is. That's pretty diverse. So you want to cater to them as much as possible and explain the practical benefits of universal design. This appeals to everyone. It affects everyone, not just those certain specific people. It can affect everyone. This is an example of what our assessment looks like. If you'll notice in the pale areas here, those are the 18 areas that can be inspected. It's up to whoever uses it. You will see the kitchen here under that. Those are our parameters. Under each question is the rationale for why we ask that question, so people understand that. This is an example of a report. The green check mark means that that room met the parameters. The red triangle means attention is required. So as you notice, the first one says the flooring currently in place is stone, glass, tile, or concrete. And what is recommended is a flooring type that will minimize trips, slip, fall dangers. Every question is matched with the appropriate recommendation. And that's pretty much it. So we covered what aging in place is and why home safety is important. We defined accessibility, universal design, and visitability. We discussed how these affect property. We gave reasons why you need to know about them and how to get that involved in the sales process. And we suggested how you can monetize this for your career. As I said, it's a web-based home assessment tool specifically designed to identify potential hazards and provide modification recommendations. We want people to thrive in their home, regardless of their age, but we want it to be safe and accessible for them. This is my contact information. Free to reach out to me. I will be happy to give you a free demonstration. I also do a tremendous amount of consultation. People call me up and they have a buyer and they have specific needs and they want some information. I've worked with realtors around the country. I am, in fact, a part of Senior Home Coach. She and I have been kind of partnering a little bit back and forth here, even though I'm not a realtor. I'm trying to provide her with educational information. Again, this is my contact information. And Skip can provide you with anything else that you need, and so can Julie. Anybody have any questions? Please go for it.
Wow. Great information.
Thank you.
What ahas, everybody? Ahas. So when I got an aha, I was like, if we learn this, especially when we're helping buyers and from transitioning from one property to another, and we have this awareness, it just makes us a higher and better real estate professional to serve them.
My real feeling is, and as I said, I had a real estate license, but I'm also a doctor. So I look at where people are now and what they may need in the future. And to me, that's really important. You can't predict the future, but you can ask questions of your buyer about their health. It may not be the best idea for them to stay there, regardless of their age. But you have to ask those questions non-intrusively. Hey, I want to get to know you better so I can provide you with the best property there is out there for you. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Is that okay? Just trying to get a bigger picture of what their needs are. Sometimes they don't know. And, that's the way it is. But when you start developing this relationship with your clients and you develop trust, they're more likely to give the answers to questions you need to find the perfect property for them.
Avery.
Hey, Catherine. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I just was wondering if you could explain a bit more the online tool and how that works and how we would use it, please.
Okay. The online tool, it's web-based. It used to be an app, but I didn't want people to have to keep buying different versions, so I moved it into the, internet. There's two ways to buy it. You can buy it one at a time, which is $39.95. It gives you one assessment. You can access it. You get, you put your demographic information, your name, address, etc., and you set up your own password to get in. And then you can go in, you can do it. You can go back and edit it. You can print it. You can save it as a PDF. Or if you feel you're going to use it a lot, you can use a monthly subscription. And that allows you at $99.95, that allows you to do as many properties as you want, unlimited number of properties. It's extremely simple to use. I've had very great reviews from people who love it because it covers so much information. and they can go back and edit it. And maybe now they want to do the bathroom, but they didn't do the bathroom before. So now they need that information because their client has expressed some questions about the property. So it's extremely flexible. I did a survey of our clients about a year and a half ago as to why they chose us. And one of the top reasons is because we are so flexible. Example, the assessment asked, is there a fire extinguisher available? And, you'd think that was a great question, right? Nobody knows how to use fire extinguishers. I don't. So the person said, why don't you also include fire blanket? So I went in that day and I changed it and I added fire blanket. Perfect example. So we respond to our users as quickly and as fast as we can, as long as we know it's going to apply to most of our users. Pardon me. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Joe?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, first of all, thank you so much. Excellent information in here. By the way, where are you in Oregon? Sounds like you're in Oregon.
No, I'm in Iowa.
Oh, you're in Iowa. So
Yep.
some of the things you're talking about in Oregon. Okay, never mind. You mentioned about, you told that last question. So we can buy one assessment and can do a subscription. How exactly that work? Can it be each time we have a client, we just get one? So each one is for one property. Is that
Correct.
how exactly that work?
Correct. Each one is for one property. So say you are doing one today,
Mm-hmm.
you would log on and you would buy one assessment. And maybe you want to do one in another month.
Right.
You'd log on and you buy another assessment. But
Okay.
now, all of a sudden, you have 5 buyers and you need to do 5 assessments. Well, rather than pay 5 times 40, you can get 99 and do an unlimited number of assessments. So it's economically more feasible. And you can back off if you want to cancel that subscription and go back to the one. You can do that. It doesn't matter. It's what works best for you.
So it's a 40 or 45 for each one?
It's $39.95 for a one time.
Oh, 40, right, okay. And
And
then 99 for unlimited.
Right,
Okay.
right. $99.95 for a monthly subscription.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you so much.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. I will contact you. We have a lot to talk about. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I look forward to it. By the way, I used to live in California. I worked for Intel.
Where did you live? Where?
I lived in San Jose, but I worked in their very, 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 very first building in Mountain View. I worked there from 67 to 70 when they
Wow.
literally just started.
Wow.
I wish I'd had stock, but oh, there you go.
So yeah, that's our hood. That's our neighborhood. And I grew up with Andy Grove being out there at Intel.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Andy is a special person. I knew him well.
Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Billy Cohn.
Now we have to ask, hi, I'm Lynn Lynn. Thank you for your presentation. Sorry, I was in and out of calls. So why did you move to Iowa? The big question. Always curious.
For the corn.
Cheaper.
Oh, I tell people, I know this sounds corny. I tell people we don't have hurricanes, we don't have earthquakes, we don't have forest fires, we don't have mudslides, we don't have so many different things. It's probably boring to live in this state, but I lived here all my life, and I'm watching the climate change around me. I may move at some point if it changes too much, but yeah, the corn is here, and it's really good in the summer.
So which city are you in Iowa?
Davenport, Iowa, Quad City.
Okay, so I'm sold. I'm just going to go to Iowa now. If you don't have any of these, yeah.
No, the Mississippi does flood, but I don't live near it. So,
Well, okay.
You get
There you go.
tornadoes too, don't you?
Nice.
yeah.
No,
So-
she said they don't get tornadoes where she is.
No, we've only had 3 in the entire, I don't know how many years.
Hmm.
And they weren't bad.
All right, Mickelin, go ahead.
Yes, I did have a question. I missed that last slide. I think it went on and off really quick. Could you put that back on?
Let me see.
That was your information. I got your.
Oh, okay. Give me one second.
Contact.
Yeah, and all the information for Jill is on the bulletin on the
The
front page of the
bulletin.
I don't
bulletin.
know if I can back
What's
up.
the bulletin?
I'm very bad at backing up.
It was the last slide.
Yeah, let me stop sharing here and try and find that slide.
Go to slideshow and then I guess it'd be current slide if you can
Yeah,
get that
no, it
up.
doesn't want to come up at all.
Is your slides available to us?
Here, I've got it. Uh,
Because I
Share
think I missed the
screen.
first 10 minutes. That's why I was asking if the slides were available.
yes.
They are?
Let me, nope, it's not allowing me to share now. Wait,
If you want the last slide, contact info, I just put it on the chat.
is that it?
Oh,
There
that's
you
it.
go.
Okay.
That's it. I was particularly interested. I'm working with a project with my church, and it's sort of like we've gone a long way. Now we're at the feasibility, development, stage. And some of the demographic that we're looking at are, of course, seniors. And I think this would be particularly great information for that particular demographic. It won't be a lot of units for seniors because we're kind of dividing up the space in terms of square footage and so forth. So I think this would be very, very interesting. And I think they would be interested in taking a look at this.
And I'll put a little side plug in here. Catherine Ambos of Senior Coach has I believe it's a book, she can correct me, on how to do community presentations. Am I correct, Catherine?
On how to do community presentations, yes. Well, we have the senior call mastermind every day, and on
Right.
Fridays we do Funnel Friday, and we're really working on building the Downsizers Club workbook, and we can talk about seminars all the time. But yeah, I'm putting together a lot of best practices for seminars, so you can get really big turnouts, and then the small group support groups are a lot different. So we explain the
Yeah.
differences and how to build that.
Yeah, thank you. When I started out, can I stop sharing here?
Yes, I have the information. Thank you.
Okay. When I started out, I did a lot of local presentations, which is how I knew that seniors thought putting grab bars up made them look old. I got that comment every single time I showed grab bars. So doing community presentations, I think is really, really important. It helps you establish who you are in your community and your knowledge and your experience and why you care, which is far more important than anything else.
Yeah, all those things. And then you're learning from them. Like Downsizers Club, I've said, no, we don't charge. I should pay them for showing up because I learned so much every time.
Yeah,
Well,
my first business was downsizing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
The only downside of downsizing is the socialization part of it. So they can't go, I mean, certainly if they have transportation or they had somebody who would take them to the senior center or whatever, but because that space is kind of designed exclusively for their needs, that's the only thing that I see.
What
If they don't
space are you
have
talking?
racquetball and
Yeah,
tennis or
What
golf or
space are you
whatever.
talking about, Micklin?
yeah, I'm
No,
confused.
if you're down aging in place
Mhm.
and you do all this universal design and for your living situation
I
and your
agree.
lifestyle, where is the socialization part?
Thank you.
And they need it, and I see that all the time. And you know, I make it a point when you mention about doing stuff for seniors. One of the things I've asked, and I said, for every 10 seniors that I have 5 that are doing well and 5 that are not, or so, not living their best life. And I
Yeah.
asked one of them just for my New Year's thing. I said, Catherine, what can I do for you? And she said, She said, I want a massage. I said, oh, you want me to get you a gift certificate, go to a spa to get a masseuse to go to a spa club or something. She said, no, I want you to come here and give me a massage. And I said, number one, I'm not skilled in that. But I think what she was asking for is the social part. I want you to come and see me. And if you're here, oh, by the way, rub my neck or my back or whatever. But I thought that was very interesting. I wasn't ready for her to say that, but it was that connection that she was looking for.
And to
I
me, that
agree
relates
with you.
back to transportation.
Mm,
Because if you have the appropriate transportation in your community, not talking about Lyft or Uber, but other
mm,
forms of transportation, be it a neighbor, be it your church,
mm-hmm,
something else, that will help you get to where you need to go for whatever it is you need to do.
I think they're
So,
just going to stay home all the time.
yeah.
And I think if they are living in a senior community, they are going to have built-in socialization and nutrition. And
right.
that's not a very popular, um, I'm finding, point because I'm getting a lot of flack from that. But I think that living in senior living communities and independent living is quite lovely because they've got their nutrition all day long and social activities built around meals, if nothing else. And so, what I worry about is aging in place is that people are very isolated and they have faster
Mm-hmm,
decline.
mm-hmm,
Well,
mm-hmm,
there was an article that Steve Moran just put out that loneliness is an epidemic. We know this. But what they're finding is that people are still lonely in senior living. But I agree with you, the supervision, the oversight, the warm meals, the medication oversight. But if it's failure to thrive and there's no, I mean, I don't know if you guys know about AccuShield. They're a company that got really popular during COVID because like they can go in and somebody could like check their temperature and check in. There's like a lot of oversight on like guests coming in and out. But what they also had was a product called the Love Meter, because then they could report to the community who was being visited or not being visited, because that was really kind of like, even though they're around people, there's still social isolation going on. Like there's that lack of connection.
And that was Accu what?
AccuShield.
I'm very interested in knowing about the love meter.
I'm happy to do an introduction, but yeah, the Love Meter's on their website.
Okay.
And I don't know how much it worked or anything. I just connected them with a company, this guy, really nice, called Wise AI. And literally, you can download Wise AI on your phone, look at your phone, and it can tell you your heartbeat, your oxygen level, your blood pressure. It's crazy. And I was like, you guys got to get like that in on like when somebody's just not just their temperature and
Mhm.
but anyway, it's more about like kind of security and oversight and things like that. And they started implementing all these other different things. But the Love Meter was the idea of like, some people just don't get visited,
Yeah.
and I mean, I've seen it all over the years, and it's like what I've seen is like the disparity between really luxury and very like no income, low affordability, and the middle class or that mid price point. Like those people are just getting crushed. The communities are getting crushed. Um, I can.
Yeah. That's my target demographic because there's such a lack.
Mhm.
There's a lack for that. And I got another aha from Silver Spaces from Jill that I'm going to implement is to work with an interior designer. Yeah, we work with contractors and developers and stuff, but an actual interior designer to create an environment for a family either that is in transition or is needing to buy. And that interior designer, because we do have a couple in our network, right? A few. And it just dawned on me. I'm like, they would be the perfect person to team up with to serve our families. So I'm really excited about that. I got a couple people in my group. I'm gonna call them up today. I'm like, oh, this is what we're gonna do now.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize as we age, our cornea yellows, which means we see color differently.
Hmm.
And that can make a big difference on our environmental surroundings.
Exactly.
hmm.
Color is a science, and it's very important. It's an environmental
Mhm.
science.
Yeah. But again, reaching out to interior designers, floorers, people who put in flooring, even people who put up maybe blinds, people who can come into your team, creating your own team of people you can turn to. You want this family wants blinds in their house, and you have no idea who's going to put them up. They don't want to put them up. So knowing ahead of time who's on your team, who can do the things. Look in your own house. Look at what is in your house. Your flooring, your carpeting, your drapes, your bathroom toilet, your plumbing, your electrical, just everything you can think of. Those are the people that you should pull into your team. Somebody wants to change out a light fixture. It's just old. It doesn't give off enough light. But who the heck knows how to do that? You should have an electrician in your team.
Definitely.
I had a-
Lynn,
Yes,
Lynn, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question, Jill or Dr. Burge,
Jill.
right? So my dad is, he just lost we just lost my mom this last year. So we just literally had her memorial, in December. And so now he was her primary caregiver, and now it's focused on him. He unfortunately has prostate cancer, and he's also not as mobile. He's now graduated from, walking around taking care of her. Now he's on a cane, and they have different levels in their home, second living room, stairs. So there's things about that's not great. And and then my sister and her boyfriend's living there because she came from Canada to take care of them, but they're they're in their own world. They're not doing, that's another whole family story. But anyhow, I want to find out the conversation I can have with him, because my dad is set in his ways, and this is the reason why they're still in the home that they are. Because I tried, my husband, my brother who's a doctor, my sister-in-law is a doctor. We've gone on these senior home tours with him, and he said, thank you very much, but I'm not ready to go and see a bunch of old people. I can take care of your mom, just set in his way. So he's probably going to be one of those people who will come feet first out of the home, unfortunately. But meantime, I don't know how to talk to him about doing this assessment, which I think is super important, because I want to do it for his home without him feeling now his daughter's invading his space and is telling him what to do. And I don't know if there's a way that we can tactfully approach.
I have an idea. You could ask him to help you. Say, Dad, could you help me? I want to do a practice assessment for my real estate clients, and I'd like to do it on your home. I'm working with this Dr. Jill Burke, and I'm learning how to do this assessment. So could you help me and let me do that?
Okay.
You could tell him you're doing it on your house too, but you need it for practice.
Oh,
And
okay.
do only one area at a time. So where does he spend most of his time? Is he in the living room?
No,
think
he
about-
hardly goes in the living room. It's mostly either his bedroom, in the kitchen, because he does love to cook, or in the family room that's adjacent to the kitchen.
Okay.
Because he watches TV.
So say pick the kitchen, and maybe use the assessment just to go through the kitchen to give you some ideas. And, hey, you know what? Is it hard for you to use this faucet? Do you think it's something we could change that would make it a little easier for you? You have to come at it from how can I help you? Not as much as how can you help yourself? What is it that you can do? Tell me what you can do that will make your life easier if we make some changes. Yeah, I know you're resistant to change. My ex-husband has prostate cancer. He lost his significant other, and he's lost. He is just lost. He doesn't want to move around. He's set in his ways. He drives my daughters absolutely over the wall because he won't change. So I understand that. So they're almost in the same position where they have to build this bond of trust. It's not because you can't do this anymore, which is the worst thing you can say. It's how can we help you do this better?
Yeah.
What is it that will make your life easier? And there's always going to be pushback, guaranteed. But it's building and give it time. Just don't try and do this in a month. Try and do it over a period of time and use a conversational tone of view, point of view. I mean, hey, I was thinking about this. I happened to see something the other day about whatever. Don't make it about yourself. Don't make it about him. Bring something from the outside in. I saw this the other day. What do you think about this? Try and introduce new subject, new topics, new ways of looking at things that are not yours, because it's just, we've now reversed this. Do you remember how we used to tell our kids not to do things and they would do them anyway?
Yeah.
Because it was pushed back, they wanted the power. This is the same thing. So now you just have an older adult that's a child, and you
Yes.
almost
That's
have to
what I
treat
do.
them in the same way and speak to them in the same way, because they're going to push back almost every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that. And yeah, I like that, just coming from a place of, you know, um, I'm maybe to help my clients, like, hey, I'm Siri certified. I'm working with a lot of people, that are your age, and I want to kind of test this new tool. And it sounds like it's pretty straightforward, right? It will give me prompts. Do I go there with a phone to take photos and stuff?
And pictures really are worth 1,000 words.
Okay.
Instead of trying to explain to someone how a single lever faucet might be able to help them, show them what it is. Show them a picture. Pictures really are worth 1,000 words when you're trying to explain things to people. It really works well. Again, it's objective. It's not coming from you. It's an objective source. So it's accepted by the other person as an objective point of view.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much,
Mhm.
Dr. Berg.
It's awfully hard to be the child that has expertise because no one in the family wants to listen. So, but I think generally parents want to help their kids. They want to help their kids be successful. And so I think that's a good approach that you're doing homework.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just lucky that I am a real estate agent in that regards, and I have a good excuse because I literally just had a daughter where I introduced the CSA to the parents. They wanted me to talk to them about, their home and selling it, and when they go into senior living. And she confided in me that her mom is being selfish, and there's this whole thing that she wants her husband to take care of her, but and they're waiting for this community to come up, but it's going to be a few years before it's built, and just this whole thing. So finally she was just like, she's not really on great talking terms with the mom and wants me to go in there. And so I'm like, that's good, because I can use that as an excuse,
It's a lot easier to be the third party and do the heavy lifting for the adult kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you
And
so
you
much.
said you introduced the CSA. Can you tell us what you mean by that?
Yeah, so Mike, as you guys probably know, Scoggins does these tours with my clients. We go to senior communities to see them. So I introduced him to them because they were interested in this one community that was close by, but that was the only one they knew. And it's just like, when you're picking an agent, you interview a few. When you're picking a home, you should look at a few. When you go to a senior community, you should look at a few when you're making these important choices. So basically, that's what he helps my clients with.
So he's the senior living advisor to help them select their senior living community.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just was interested because you're referring to him as the CSA. So is that a term you use for a senior living advisor or senior placement professional?
I think so. Because he was the first one I know, and
Okay.
he calls himself the certified senior advisor. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm just like, okay, here's someone that can help you with introducing you to different, communities. Yeah, because he comes in, does his full spreadsheet and everything. So
Cool.
Well, I think you know that we have quite a few CSAs on our call here, as well as SRESs. In fact, Catherine and I were just on the monthly uh, call for the journal editorial board right before this. That's why we were both late. But it's a designation that I think pairs well with the SRES. And for a shameless plug, next week is my SRES class on, this is weird, Wednesday and Friday. We have Thursday off. And for the SRESs to repeat it, it's $99. I put the flyer in the chat. And keep in mind that even though this is not DRECE available for CSAs, you can get 12 CE units to your CSA, not to the
Wow.
not to the real estate, but that's a big chunk. And if you want to do a twofer, that'd be great. So keep that in mind too.
So really, it's for California realtors, but any CSA could take it for CE.
Exactly, yeah. If you have
Okay.
if you have a current SRES, that's all they require.
Okay, Julie, we could mention that on the senior call tomorrow.
Yeah.
But Lynn, what I was going to say to you is you could be a CSA too, and they're not just senior living advisors or senior placement professionals. They could be in the moving business, like Todd or whatever you call it that you're in today with clutter
Or even
cleaners.
real estate agents.
Real estate agents, a lot of senior specialists in real estate are getting their CSA. And then within the senior home coach world, we're figuring out how to make all this kind of work together so that we can help those kids that are so frustrated with how to support their parents and how to help them move forward and make some good decisions.
Okay, thank you. And you're Catherine. I'm going to write
Yeah.
your name. Okay, thank you, Catherine.
Yeah, put Catherine on speed dial.
And the call with Catherine, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, Pacific
It
Standard
is
Time.
for you guys. Yeah. But we do have some really loyal California people like Julie that get on. And the James Shaw call, which is a general real estate call, I think it's on 7:30 my time, and there's tons of people that are Pacific Standard Time. So we would love for you to start your morning with us on the senior call.
So,
And
and
what
all
day
of
is
the
that?
information that is on page 4 of the bulletin for all of that.
What bulletin is that now?
Yeah. The best
But what
bulletin
day
in the
is it, real
country.
quick?
Yep.
What day?
Bulletin.
Every day, Michelin.
Every day. Oh,
Every
Every
day.
single day. We've done it since September 5th of 2023. And what we're accomplishing is astronomical.
Astronomical.
Mhm.
Yeah, you need to do like 2 or 3 a day. You're really way behind.
Remember, Skip, we tried that.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll have to think about that. Okay.
Yeah, good luck with that.
We're combining forces though. So this is going to be, and it's going to be exponential going into this year.
I think that's what we need. Julie, Skip, Jill, Todd, all of us that are working in this space, the more we work together, the faster we're going to learn, the better we're going to be able to serve, the better we're going to be at being the resource to the resources.
I agree.
Exactly right.
And
I
we
think-
all need to know Todd. Todd's going to
Yeah.
be a big piece of this. How are you doing with the Aloha junk calling thing? When is that coming?
That should be first, second quarter of this year. We're really focusing on Clutter Cleaner right now and getting that standing up on its own. Then we'll go into the Aloha junk.
Okay, well, at least I know how to say it right today.
Hey, I'm almost making it through this entire meeting, so we're both winning.
Okay.
So I'm excited to have Dr. Jill here with us today because this is going to be an integral part of what we're going to bring to our businesses as seniors, real estate specialists, CSAs, senior home coaches. We're all of the above. Avery is a fiduciary. He works with senior homeowners and this families of senior homeowners and all levels of family. This is going to expand into multi-generational demographics, not just seniors, because we can serve every level of the family with Silver Spaces, universal design, what it is that we do, and how we work with people. So it's just exponential. It's huge, but this is going to create an opportunity for us to have small tidbits that we can include into our service offerings when we work with people and our colleagues, each other. So going
like what you
forward,
said
I'm
about
really excited about that. Go ahead, Catherine.
multi-gen, Julie. You know, if we're telling our first-time home buyers to think about universal design and think about aging in place concepts, because you never know when you're going to have a family member that needs this type of universal design. It just
The word of the day now that I learned from Jill is visitability.
that's really good.
That's a marketing tool right
It
there.
is. So we can talk to family, people of all ages about having a home with proper visitability. So great grandma and grandpa can visit as time goes on. And, you know, people adopt children or things happen, and all of a sudden you need to have a home that is aging in place ready.
Visitability is a lot more friendly term than universal design. And should be kind of intuitive.
Oh yeah, and the ADU, the whole ADU concept, that's a whole nother concept. This afternoon, I'm visiting an ADU developer. We're gonna develop a couple of marketing funnels, and really excited about that. I'll be talking about that in my bulletin soon.
Cool.
So this was great. My head's exploding. Got stuff. We're gonna do next
Well,
week.
thank you for inviting me. I really, really appreciate it, Julie and Skip. I hope I've given everybody the information they were looking for. But as I said, I do a lot of consultations. I will answer any question you throw at me. If I don't know it, I'll find somebody who does.
That's amazing.
And next week, we're going to have a presentation on CAPS, the Certified Aging in Place Specialist. So see how that kind of just fit right in there?
Perfect.
And this is just going to set the tone for the business going forward in 2026, because I talk about it a lot. We're bringing all of these disciplines into all of our services. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And now we're going to have a national TV show addressing these issues. And that starts airing March 2nd, and I'll have more details coming out soon, hopefully.
And I'll put it in the bulletin. Okay.
That'd be awesome.
Really?
What's the bulletin now?
Oh, I'm gonna get you.
Bulletin.
Everything's there.
You and your bulletin.
Thank you,
All right,
everybody.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Y'all have a
you.
great week.
Thank you so
We'll
much.
see you next week.
Nice to see ya.
Thank you.
Thank you.